This is for the Maroons in the Blue Mountains of Jamaica. This is for all my Native American Moors of Turtle Island just minding their business in Canada until all this colonization bullshit. Ronnie! My bad, Auntie.
Chill, this is phenomenal.
The baddest independent creative summit is back. Atlanta, Georgia, get ready. February 1st and 2nd, the cookout is coming your way. You do not want to miss an opportunity to create with some of the greatest minds in the game. Link is in the description. Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. I'm your brother, old guy from Hip Hop News Uncensored, and sitting across from me is my co-host.
What up, y'all? It's your man, Sam, and Viral Hip Hop News. You're in the building with a very special edition of the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast, or for a very special edition of the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. We got a special guest in the building. Our man, Mario Winans, is on the podcast. Family, it's a pleasure to have you on. How you doing this afternoon?
It's a pleasure, man. I'm great. How y'all doing, man?
Man, it's a pleasure, man. It's dope. Appreciate you. It's a beautiful day out here in New Jersey, man. And obviously, we are blessed to have you on here. How you feeling, man? 2021 is here. We like to start off the interviews just asking people, given all the circumstances we done dealt with the last year and some change now. How you feeling, brother?
Man, I'm feeling blessed, bro. No complaints. You know, alive, well, healthy. My family's alive, well, and healthy. No complaints, man. You know, I'm feeling very, very good, man.
Dope.
Thank you for asking.
Anytime.
How's the music going now, man? You know, let us know what you're working on, what you've been working on.
Oh, man, everything is great, man. You know, we just won a Grammy for the Burna Boy album. I was a part of that. I produced on the last weekend album, and that's still a great success. And I've just been into I've been scoring some films. I scored with myself and Chucky Thompson. We scored and composed on the Biggie. I got a story to tell Netflix documentary. And basically, man, I've just been working and grooming younger artists and talents and stuff like that, getting ready to put some more music out. But yeah, music is going well, man. It's going well.
Dope. Well, like we said, man, it's definitely a pleasure to have you on. You came out around the time when we were about 16, 17 years old. I know I was a senior in high school. I was a singer and loved singing your songs because all the girls love hearing me sing your songs. So it was definitely a beautiful time getting with the women, and you helped me along that way, man. So definitely followed your career coming through Bad Boy and know the historical name, the Winans. Talk about that, man. Take us back to the beginning and how it was growing up in such a legendary religious, I don't know if it was necessarily religious, but gospel household with a bunch of star singers in the gospel arena. Excuse me. How was it?
Oh, man, it was amazing, bro. You know, surrounded by music, grounded in spirituality. You know, it was all, if I wasn't in church, I was in rehearsals for, you know, my dad and mom and BB and CC, everybody getting ready to go out of town and perform and do shows on tour. So I was surrounded by music. So I learned a great deal about music and this quality music and just different attributes and things that you need being in the music industry, man. And so I was very blessed to grow up in the Winans family, man. And it is, you know, a lot of things and jewels I've taken throughout my entire career.
So at what point did you kind of, you know, I'll say graduate from the gospel realm and kind of transition into what they call secular music? At what point did you, you know, do that? And did you receive any backlash when you did so?
You know what? When I was 19, man, I decided to go to Atlanta, Georgia, and I signed to Dallas Austin. He's actually my second cousin on my mom's side of the family. And you know, I didn't really get backlash. I mean, I had heard some things, but I didn't hear directly, so I'm not sure. But, you know, if anything, I think it was just concern, you know, just to make sure I didn't get caught up in the life. But I never lost my center of who God is in my life, you know. But it was around 19 years old, man, is when I decided to produce secular music. Because back then, type of music that I was producing, you know, some people were saying it was a little too out there, quote unquote, out there for gospel. And now you see gospel today is pretty much, it's very almost a lot similar. Some of the music is similar to the secular music. So I guess I was just ahead of my time when it came to producing and wanting to kind of push things forward a little bit without even realizing that that's what I was doing. But that kind of pushed me to make the decision to go and produce, you know, where my music would fit and where, you know, I can grow. You know what I mean?
Yes, indeed. So talk about getting into the game early on and having that famous name. Did you feel it to be like pressure to kind of break out of the stigma of gospel music, or were you kind of comfortable in your shoes doing your thing and you were kind of grounded even early?
Yeah, I was comfortable because I knew that God had a call on my life, and I knew
Right.
that there was a reason for the gifts and talents. So I just started early, thank God, taking responsibility and accountability for what I was given. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really feel any pressure. I just was, pedal to the metal and just learning as much as I can and taking full advantage of every opportunity.
Right.
So at what point did you run into Puffy, or as they call him now, Diddy?
Oh, that was 97, man. Actually, a friend of mine, a guy named Kevin Wells, connected me and Puff in 97. And we had a phone call, man, and I flew to New York. And, man, that was all she wrote, man. We started rocking, and that was it. Things was beautiful.
I know y'all had a team of writers, which y'all, it was almost like a hit squad back then. I know you, Stevie J, and I'm coming off the top. I think it was Chucky.
Chucky Thompson, D-Dot,
Yep.
J-Dub, Young Lord, Press
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it was a whole crew of us, man.
How did you get together, and how was the chemistry early on, and how did you guys evolve?
Well, Kevin Wells connected me to Puff, and then I signed on as a hitman in 97. The chemistry was incredible, just being around a bunch of super, super talented guys, and everybody's that's just, out there competing in the game and really making a lot of noise and a lot of success. And it was really, really great, man, to be around that magnitude of talented people and creative people. So I was very excited about that. You know what I'm saying? It was a great opportunity.
I'm not mistaken, you wrote for people like Janet Jackson, Whitney Houston. Could you just get into, starting with Whitney Houston? Did you ever get a chance to like sit down and physically work with her? And if you did, let us know about that experience as well, please.
Yeah, well, I knew Whitney since I was like, I think 12 or 13 years old, because she did a song with my aunt and uncle BB and Cece years ago. So I met her years ago before that. And then, and as time went on and I started producing secular music, we started doing some things. I was working with her and some of her artists and stuff like that. But I had known Whitney since I was a child. So that's how that was. But yeah, Janet Jackson, we recorded a song in Miami. They didn't put it on the album, but it was an amazing song that we did together. She came to the studio super, super professional, and that was just like a chance of a lifetime to work with any of the Jacksons, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, those were two of the iconic people that I, was blessed to work with, along with Jay-Z and Beyonce and Puffy and Jennifer Lopez and Mary J. Blige and a lot of other people, Stevie Wonder, Aretha Franklin, but yeah, those are two great experiences that I had in my career.
A lot of people don't realize, because we get so enamored and so fascinated with the artists, that it's the producers and songwriters that are really the heart and soul of the music, and primarily the breadwinners of the outcome or the income that comes in with the songs and hit singles that the artists they love drop. You are on both sides of the spectrum. You are a phenomenal artist and also a producer and a phenomenal writer producer as well. Mm-hmm. Talk about the misconception, because some people would think, okay, we ain't heard from Mario Winans in 20 years. He quote unquote fell off, but now not so fast, when I'm still a multi-platinum selling producer and multi-platinum writer who fell off. So just talk about the dynamic between both. And did you ever feel the pressure of, or the want of, kind of going out there and being more of an artist, or were you always cool with just like, you know what, I'm cool right here, it's winning?
Well, number one, I don't look at, certain people, they look at things as fell off, but I've had my hands in so many things over the past year, and for me, when you've been a part of over 50 million records sold as a producer, and then you've traveled to almost every country and continent in the world as an artist, sometimes you need a break. You know what I'm saying? And I've been blessed to have the wisdom to be able to say, okay, let me go sit my behind down and look in the mirror and see where my character is, see where my soul is. But, so sometimes I just had to get quiet and take care of me and my soul and spend some time with my family. But I still had my hands in a lot of projects. I mean, when I was on a break from producing for a minute, I came back and did the Trey song, Can't Be Friends. That was 16 weeks at #1. So whenever I wanted to, get back in it, there was always, still some success, which all glory to God. But I never really felt any pressure. I don't really get into, I'm not a fame seeker like that. I'm just more into being effective. So a lot of things that I still have my hands in outside the music and different platforms and companies that I was building outside of music, because I just needed a break from the music for a while. But yeah, it was really no pressure, man. I'm just living my life and loving my life, man. And I don't really get caught into the limelight. So I don't really have that pressure of like, oh, I gotta be back in the limelight. Everybody thinking I fell off. Sometimes when you out of the limelight, that's where the peace is. Because let me tell you
Word.
something. When the lights were shining on me, man, it was more it was so much coming at me, man. And but I thank God we got through all of that. But to answer your question, I wouldn't really know pressure, man, because I understand what life is about, and I understand that I understand purpose and people, So sometimes, I think I was dealing with and affecting more people in a positive way when I was behind the scenes, and after I took a little bit of a break to get myself together. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a it can get real dark in the music industry. You know what I mean? So I definitely needed that time, but we still here.
So
Now you said you wrote "Can't Be Friends" by Trey Songz.
Yeah, I produced that record. And my partner, Michael Lowe Jones, wrote that. Yep.
I looked at that yesterday.
Yeah, that's my joint. Could you take us back? Obviously, even that, and I don't want to know, which we'll talk about a little bit later, man. It's real life situations that come down, it happens in real life. Because when you talk about the creation of that song, was it based on something that you went through in your real life?
Well, no, my man wrote the lyrics. I just produced the record. I created the track, produced the record. But I'll tell you a story. I was watching this movie called Babel with Brad Pitt, and I fell asleep on him at the end of the movie. And this was when DVDs were still out. I had a Blu-ray DVD, so like the menu, the menu starts repeating, and I was listening to this music, so I downloaded the score from the movie, and I found this record by this piano player. His name is Ryuichi Yakamoto, and Sakamoto actually. And there was a sample piece on there that had those strings in there. And I had just sampled it and put it in my machine because sometimes I would kind of keep my my sampler on the side of the bed just in case I have any ideas or something like that. So a few weeks later, I went to the studio, cooked that sample up, and I sent it to the other room in the studio. And Lowe wrote this amazing song, and that song was "Can't Be Friends."
Now, was it specifically made for him, or was it like after?
Nah, it wasn't specifically made for him.
Okay.
To be honest with you, that track had a tremendous path. At first, Puff had took the track. He loved the track for himself, and then it ended up we didn't use it for Puffy, and then I sent it to Big John, my publisher at EMI at the time, and then he sent it to Craig Campbell for Trey Songz, and that's how that happened.
Dope. Now, let's talk about Black Rob. Rest in peace, Black Rob. We just recently lost Black Rob a couple of weeks ago. I know y'all did the record together. This is The Thanks I Get. I don't know if y'all did the records together, but that was my joint back in the day. I definitely remember that. And y'all were in that Bad Boy era right after the unfortunate passing of Biggie. Yeah. And then we have Diddy doing his thing, Mace doing his thing, and then Loon, Mario Winans, Black Rob, Sean Poe. I know I'm missing some people. List goes on and on. Did y'all think? How was it working with Black Rob, man? And what did you think of his passing?
Man, well, his passing was very sad. It hit me in my heart. I didn't see that coming. I was praying that he was gonna pull through. Once we found out that he was not doing well. So that definitely hit me in a way, because I produced a couple of songs on the Life Story album, a song called Muscle Game and a song called Espacio. So we've had tremendous success together, man, and that was just my guy, man, and so I was very saddened by that.
Definitely. Let's go back to I Don't Want to Know, man. Could you go take us back to the creation of that song as well, based on the Fugees beat and everything? Take us back. Was that based on a real life experience that you went through?
You know what? That's just something I was going through at the time. I'd always loved that sample. I heard it in a movie called Sleepwalkers years and years and years before the Fugees did it. But they did it first, which I'm glad they did, because Ready or Not is still to this day one of my favorite records. Shout out to Jerry Wonder who produced that. And it was just something I was going through at the time, and I'm secure enough in myself to to speak and be vulnerable and just say how I felt. Some people take it as, oh, you wouldn't want to know, that's whack, you this, you that. And I'm like, listen, man, that's how I felt. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you find out some information and you don't know how you're gonna respond or what kind of position that'll put you in. But it's just what I felt and something that I was going through mentally. I just decided to write about it, man, and it ended up being a success. I wasn't even really expecting that to be a success like that. It's just a song that I had did, and they ended up putting it on a guy named Conrad who was working with Bad Boy. Shout out to Conrad. Ended up putting it on the Bad Boy mixtape, and it just took off. But that wasn't even really something that I was planning on putting out like that. But it ended up doing what it did.
Now you wrote, produced, and obviously performed that record.
Yes, I wrote the record and produced it. I also had a co-writer. The same guy who wrote Can't Be Friends With Me, he wrote on I Don't Want to Know With Me as well. Phenomenal writer named Michael Jones.
Dope. Now, how was it clearing that record? I know you obviously dealt with a lot of samples and know what that sample game is like. So did you get the record cleared, and were you able to get full publishing and recoup for that record?
Nah, I mean we definitely had to give up some publishing to Enya and to Eric Sermon and Parrish, because the drums is from Your Customer. So we definitely had to share in that, but I ain't had no problem with that because it was about the composition of the record and about the record itself. So I think that record did well for all of us.
What do you think over the last probably decade, Diddy's been getting a bad rap, from working with some of his artists, a lot of artists that were disgruntled over the years. What would your experience be working with Diddy? And, how do you feel about all the artists that came out against Diddy?
Say that again.
I said, how do you feel about all the artists that came out against Diddy? And I was asking, how do you feel about, over the last 10 years, everybody coming at him? And what was your experience with Diddy as well, working with Diddy?
My experience with Diddy was phenomenal. It was all great. I have nothing but greatness to speak about my brother. I'm not gonna comment about what anybody else said because I don't know the details of that. But as far as me and Puff's experience, it was great, man, and it's still great. I'm doing something with him as we speak. We're working on something phenomenal. But always keeping it positive. Yeah, everything was cool with me and him, always.
Do you think the criticism is fair from fans and from people around him alike, given maybe given what he's given to the game and his time in the game and who he is in the game? Do you think that the criticism is fair?
I choose not to speak on that. We can talk about my career, but as far as my brother, I have nothing but great things to say about Puff, man. That's my brother. We've had a lot of great success together, and we're going to keep having some great success together.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Now you came to Bad Boy. I heard you saying kind of like after Biggie died, so there's no memories there. But, being on the label, what was the atmosphere like after that? What stories did you hear about Biggie? Obviously remixes and things like that. Could you share a little bit of that with us?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, the atmosphere was we came together and we survived together and we put out as much as great music as we possibly can together, man. So I'm thankful for it, man. It was a great atmosphere.
You said earlier in the interview that it was during a time, sometime during your rise to fame and your high time at fame, that being an artist had its dark moments and being in the music industry had some of its dark moments. Can you kind of share to the best way you can some of those dark moments and why you decided to kind of take a break a little bit, step away?
Well, I choose not to highlight dark moments. I'll highlight the positive moments. I mean, everybody in life, whatever path they are, they have, moments to where they go through things, and whether it's just, you might be just super tired, you might be super drained, you might just have, some time you need to really search your soul and within yourself. And so, when I speak of dark moments, that was just something personal that I was going through within myself and something that I didn't really choose to highlight. But the positive thing that I will highlight about that is I got through it, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a praying man and I was excited about it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Was the industry what you expected coming out of gospel, going into the secular? Was it what you expected? Did it hit you with any surprises?
Say that again?
I said, was the industry what you expected? Did it hit you with any surprises coming out of the gospel realm and moving into the secular?
Nah, it wasn't no surprises. You know what I'm saying? I love music, so it was great. It was great.
I Need a Girl Part 2, one of my favorite records, probably all time. Like it was during a real great time in my life. 02, was about to graduate. That song comes out in the summertime. Y'all on the bikes in Florida talking to the honeys, and it was just a beautiful moment. Talk about that, the creation of that record, I Need a Girl Part 2.
Oh man, we been working on some remixes and got in the studio and cooked that beat up, man, and Puff loved it, and we came together and made something great, man. And that was a very, very great success for us all, man, and people still play that record to this day, man. And that was some fun times, man. Some fun times.
You produced that record?
Yes, I did.
Word, damn, catalog is crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How you feel about the current state of R&B and where it evolved to, from the late 90s to now? Do you think anything is missing from the game, and how come it's like, disappeared that kind of, mainstream R&B from the mainstream, I should say?
I think, our time evolves. You know what I'm saying? I think technology came in and also had its effect on a lot of different music. And I'm not gonna say what I feel is missing, but what I will say is I love and I gravitate more to like musical songs and songs that have a lot of music in it and musicality and stuff like that. But I think there's a place for every genre of music and every style of music. There's an audience and there's a listener for it. So where it is right now, I think R&B is in a great space right now. I mean, look at her, just won Oscar. She won a Grammy. My man D Mile, who was an R&B producer, just won an Oscar and a Grammy in the same year. So I think R&B is in a great space. It's just all about how you look at it. You can choose to look at something negative, or you can choose to look at something positive. I see it in a positive light.
How have you evolved over the years as a producer, and how has the artist evolved? How is you working with artists before and now evolved over time?
I've evolved because I stay dedicated to my craft. I stay, learning and studying. I still study different genres of music. I still study, producers that I look up to, like the Teddy Rileys, the David Fosters, and the Quincy Jones, Stevie Wonders. And so I think you have to continue to evolve, but I think you have to also remain who you are and your core as far as what your sound is. As far as working with artists, I mean, I think that's an individual thing, depending on who the artist is. I've always had great experiences working with artists, because I've been blessed to work with some of the best iconic artists in the game.
How do you feel about the versus battles that have been going on? And would you ever participate in a versus battle?
I love the versus battle. I like the fact that they're celebrations. I like the fact that two artists or two producers or two groups or whatever can come together and celebrate their success and have people celebrate with them and give them their flowers while they're here. So me personally, that's not for me. You know what I'm saying? I just like to do what I do, but I love to watch them. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's a great experience and a platform for everybody to come and just play their music and have millions of people watch and enjoy it. I think that's amazing.
One battle that everybody's been kind of talking about, wanting to see happen, was Usher versus Chris Brown. What would be who would you side with in that opinion? With your expertise in music.
I don't pick sides. I celebrate both. They're both phenomenal artists, so I don't pick sides on that. I think Usher's incredible and Chris is incredible. So I would just be happy to see it, to listen to the music. Both of those guys have dominated in their music for years. So I think it's more of a celebration than a choosing of sides. You know what I'm saying? It ain't a basketball game. It's a celebration of two guys that have had great success and sold millions of records and performed in front of millions of people. So that's how I look at it.
So what you got going on next or upcoming that the people should know about? Anything outside of music?
Well, I started a platform called Artime, ARTIME. That's a online music mentoring platform to where kids and adults can go on and book one-on-one video sessions, mentoring sessions with what we call creative masters, producers, songwriters, engineers, band directors, musicians, DJs, vocal coaches, and we have all of the best from the past 30 years till now, from Brian Michael Cox, myself, the Hitman, Tim and Bob, Dre and Vidal, Adam Blackstone, one of the biggest band directors out there in the game, and musicians. We have jazz musicians, my uncle Tim Bowman, and you can really go and learn and get mentored by one of the best or some of the best people in the game. And so I think it's something that's never been done, to have one-on-one, to have someone like myself. You can sit there and ask me anything, and I can mentor you about your career and where you're going in your career, so you can really learn the do's and don'ts, and we can really help you maintain your creative confidence in the music game, and also help you with this technology age, that you don't lose your creativity to technology, that you stay using technology and don't allow technology to use you. So that's one thing that I just launched recently this year, and it's going really well. And you can go on www.artime.io. It's a UK-based company, but that's something that I'm very excited about. Is that platform called Artime.
with that being said, what advice would you give to inspiring artists? We do have a lot of inspiring artists that watch this channel, so what will be your best advice for them, trying to break into the industry?
Man, the best advice I would give to any aspiring artist is number one, keep God first. Number two, stay positive. Number three, don't look for the negative. Stay away from gossip. Stay away from gossiping people. And stay dedicated to your craft. You know what I'm saying? And really focus on who you are, and don't sell yourself for an opportunity. And never forsake your value for an opportunity. But mainly keep God first and stay positive, man, and stay grateful.
Hey, man, we definitely appreciate your time.
Absolutely, man.
Mario Winans on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. Hey, before you get up out of here, drop your social media handles, drop that website one more time for your app, and anything else you want to tell the people, bro.
Absolutely. You can find me at I am Mario Winans on Twitter and Instagram. Our time is www.artime.io. And man, I wish everybody the best. Thank you guys. I really enjoyed this, man. God bless you guys and stay safe, man.
You too, man. Thank you.
We appreciate your time, brother. Mario Winans on the podcast. Salute.
Yes,
absolutely.
Peace, brother.
All right, brother. Peace.